to introduce Alan Cox here, local Myrtle Beach guy. Also been, if you know, remember Jeremy Sillinger, which did our camp conference a few years ago. He worked for Jeremy for a year. And so the other idea is to get great information for you guys, and we're trying to keep on schedule, okay? Alan Cox, right here, thank you.
How about I gotta follow that shit? Hey, I bet you thought you were doing yoga on the schedule and you thought, man, this guy's gonna teach us yoga? No shot, no shot. But hey, I'm glad you stuck around. You know, I've spoken Dallas, I've spoken Montana, and this is about as many people as in the whole state of Montana. So I'm used to the crowds either way. I've spoken Dallas at the ABCA. Mainly what I want to talk about was going to do hitting, but hitting is such a hard topic to talk about with Teacher Man and Fry and all these guys fighting all the time in 108. And that's something we can get into later. Hopefully you can reach out. And like I said, I did coach for Sheets. Everybody knows Coach Sheets now. He got a job with the Washington Nationals. I also coached Coach Sheets and gave him his first job and took him to his first ABCA. So there's a lot of guys behind the scenes that nobody really knows. I might be one of those guys that can reach out. Coach Shu at Coastal, went to the same school, coached with him at Kentucky Wesleyan as well. So I've been all around the country. I've done a lot of things, just like you guys have. You guys have the hardest job in the country, man, with what's going on with private lessons, travel ball, college, like you just found out. One of the things I said in ABCA 10 years ago, I think it was the 75th annual. So I said, wow, travel baseball has now creeped into college. And it's here, and it's probably going to start creeping down to you guys. Guys are going to get paid. Guys are moving on to go somewhere else. It's going to happen. We just need to deal with it and figure it out. And so it's kind of what I want to talk to you guys about today. In the 30 years I've been doing this, I've worked with 7-year-olds to major leaguers and high school, and you'll see a couple things on here that kind of explain where I've been to Pittsburgh. I was born in Pittsburgh, so go Steelers. We got some things we got to figure out. There'll be some rumors coming out here soon. And then went to California. My mom took me as far away as she could to California from my dad. And then grew up there, played JUCO there, went to Kentucky Wesleyan, where Shoemaker at Coastal's there. He played there and coached there, and then that's where I coached Sheets. And then went to Canada for 10 years in the Okotoks Dogs program in the Ontario Blue Jays. And then went to Georgia Gwinnett when Sheets got the job, because Sheets is a lot. And I knew what Sheets was about, and I said, I need to go smooth this over with the other coaches down there and just let them understand about Sheets. Kind of the yin and yang. I don't put myself out there as much. Pretty soon you're going to be taking the shit with Sheets on Sunday. So he's out there every day, and he said this to me one time: if I don't promote myself, who's going to? So it's worked out really well for him, so I'm proud of him for that. Probably the most influential person I've ever coached, just because he's in so many living rooms, and he's got all these coaches that he's helping, and they got a group together, and Coach Butch, who can't be here, and Alan Jagger and all these guys. So they're doing a really good job out there. I kind of stay in the background. Jay Johnson's a really good friend of mine. We grew up in Orville, California together. The one thing I wanted to say about Coastal, and they're gone now, I had some 14 and 15-year-olds come in from 2 from Alaska, 2 from Canada, 6 from Oregon, and we jumped in with the South Carolina kids, and we went down and played a perfect game last weekend. And we went to Coastal to visit, and then we were in their first practice, and we were right in the middle of it. We were sitting right into practice. Coach Ox is talking to the parents and these 14-year-olds, and I'm sitting back there going, man, we shouldn't be bugging these guys. They're in their first practice, and they're about to be national champs here soon. And they took the time out. They were sitting there talking to the kids, the parents, and you know what they're thinking? Man, now we might have an Alaskan kid at Coastal at some point, so this kid might be a next All-American. So they're really good with opening up, and so is Sheets. Anytime we were at practice with Sheets, 3 different coaches in GGC gear. They're all running around. It's like a circus, but it was a really cool circus. I mean, you got everybody in there. Jay's the same way at LSU. So these programs, when I was in Kentucky coaching high school baseball, Louisville was doing the same thing. So it's about the people. If you go get the people, the staff, you go get the staff and bring them in, and it's hard for you guys because you can't pay them. They can go over and do a lesson for $100 an hour. So how are you going to get that kid to come over? So that's what I'm gonna talk about a little bit, is how we get all of us involved in the same group in the same town. So we have to be able to do that to have these kids move on to that next level that you're trying to get them into, which is Coastal Carolina. And they're not kidding, their camps, they recruit out of their camps, they really do. They have a number of how many people that have come to their camps that they've recruited. I'm sure that 90% of them aren't going to Coastal, but at least it's a shot. Okay, so Socrates coach sitting there going, why are we up there? So this is Sean James. So my point is, we're going to talk about Sean James. He played at Socrates for coach. Socrates allowed his travel ball coach and his trainer to work with him all the time, and happened to be his dad, so that helped a little bit. But they were all on the same page. They weren't giving mixed signals. They weren't saying, don't go to that guy. He's telling you the wrong things. And Willie, his dad, wasn't telling him, hey, don't listen to the Socrates coach, because that's his buddy, and you know, they've known each other for a long time. If the kid is going to grow in this game, we have to all get together. You have to be able to get into the indoor. Send your assistant coach in there. Start getting involved. North Myrtle Beach, I only know what I know and because I'm here now. North Myrtle Beach has got it figured out. They're winning a lot because in the summer, their kids are playing with the high school coaches. So they keep everybody together. So they're not going to the academy. They're not going into the indoors. They're staying with their guys and playing. I don't know if it's something you can do in your town, but it works. So this is Sean James. He played for the Carolina Rays growing up. And then he played at Socrates High School. The Blue Claws is a postgrad, gap year schools that are starting to pop up everywhere because these kids don't have a chance to play in these Division I schools for another 2 years. 23, your body starts getting to where it is. And this is just 30 years of experience, just being around. You guys already know too. 26 is probably when you need to hang it up if you can't make it. So where are these kids going to go for 2 years? There's postgrads, gap years coming up all over the place. So get involved in that. He played with us when he was 16 years old. Coach allowed it. His dad allowed it. And he says that's what pole vaulted him up into being able to play at that level at Virginia, where he hit 370 last year as a freshman with 60 at-bats. Because everybody was together in that kid's career and his future, he's able to, now he's at Mississippi State. He transferred with them and got the $25,000, whatever it is. Very humble kid, coach knows. So yeah, hopefully that's why you stay. But the guys in here that are here, I remember my first ABCA and sitting in that front row taking notes for like 4 days straight and just had notebook after notebook. Now it's more of networking when you're there because Sheets found a way to get it all recorded, and now you get it if you're an ABCA member. You're able to get those. And now when you're on window time, you can watch all the videos. So now you're networking, trying to get your guys into schools. Okay? So that's what it's about. The more people you know and the more people you can be around, that's how you get your player to that next level. Okay. See if I can move this to the next one. I was gonna talk Saturday at 2, so I was like, I'll just wait till Friday. You know how we do, baseball coaches. So I grabbed my daughter. I said, you need to wake up. I don't know how to do these slides and this shit. We're on ChatGPT, and she showed me, she had that thing done. So if there's something there, hopefully she did a good job. I have no idea. Okay. Development is just mechanics and talent, but the truth, the player's environment is building him up or breaking him down. Talent opens the door, environment determines how far the player will go. A lot of players have the ability differences. Who's around them daily? What's expected, what's allowed, and what gets reinforced. I had an opportunity to work at a Dogs Academy in Okotoks, Alberta. It's a town of 20,000 people. If you have a chance to look at a place, take a look at that on the website, Okotoks Dogs. We've been pumping 20 players a year out of there to college. Now, they have an advantage. They don't have high school baseball in Canada in Okotoks, Alberta, because it snows all year. But we have a $30 million facility there that we were pumping players out from 10 different countries. And nobody even knows who they are. They do now. When we first started, we were flying coaches up to come watch us. And now coaches are flying there weekly to watch these guys. And that's just the Division I kids that are currently in Division I from that academy. So it'd be like if you kept your high school team together all year round, which is, I'm telling you, you should do. You can. But guess what? You gotta teach all day. I gotta be in at school at 7 a.m. I go at 3, and then I got 40 kids I gotta coach, and then I gotta go home. Make sense? How are we supposed to do that? So he's gonna go to the indoor guy. You know why? Because the indoor started at 4 o'clock. He wants more swings. Can he get it at your place? Are you gonna stick around and hit with him after your 9-hour day? Probably not. So get into that program, get into that indoor and see what they're doing. Now, how many guys have an indoor facility? 1, 2. Great. Guess who has one? The guy in town. Guess where you get to use if you're involved with that guy that has the indoor. Now, sometimes the fireman, he just started and he's making all the money and doesn't know baseball really well, but he's got an indoor and you need it. So I would suggest you guys get involved in that indoor, and now you're able to use it on a Saturday, Sunday, or in the evening when you go home and have dinner and you come back. Or you go get those young coaches. They're all about it. They're trying to make a name for themselves. That right there is Dogs Academy, and that's this year. So we've been doing it, they've been doing it for 10, 15 years. Jim Henderson was the first guy to come through. He's the Brewers manager, pitching coach for the Brewers. So I just wanted to kind of show you that, what's going on in the Canada system. Bringing everybody into one, keeping them all year. Now, we could have really screwed them up. Could have really screwed those guys up. But it's pumping kids out. Toronto, Ontario Blue Jays, same thing on the East, if you guys have had a chance. Okay. There's Sean James. My daughter made a cartoon character of it. He's excited about it. Put the Mississippi State hat on him. This is the development team. If they're aligned, the player grows fast. If they're not, the player gets pulled from 5 different directions. If the player, the parent, the high school coach, the travel ball coach, and the individual instructors, trainers, are all together, Sean James can go play at Mississippi State at 160 pounds. Make sense? That's where we're missing. That's where we're missing the athlete. Now, you got 40 of them, so it's going to be tough. Okay, I understand that. That's why you go get the people. Young coaches out there, how many guys in their first couple years sell out to the head coach? He's everything. You heard those guys say shilling this, shilling that. Or not shilling, but Schnall. I actually hit with Schnall's kid, so it's pretty cool. But Schnall, they didn't say what they liked. They said, "Does Schnall likes this, Schnall likes that, Schnall likes that." If your head guy's here, sell out to that guy. And when you get the job, you can do whatever you want, because I know you got ideas and you think you're better than him, but you're not. You've been doing it for years, and he does it certain ways because he's got to deal with, you know who, the administration. So just trust him, listen to him, learn from him, and then when you get the job, do your own thing. But for now, sell out to that dude, man. Make sense, young guys? All right. And learn as much as you can, man. Never know who the janitor is at the school. We called her Miss Rosa at Gwinnett. Miss Rosa was the Georgia Gwinnett. She was the janitor, and she never had to take the garbage out. So those things are important. Know everybody. Meet everybody. All those Division I guys you see at Utah and Wichita State, and the AD at Mississippi State, and Lamonis, who's from Socastee High School, that coached at Mississippi State, and Louisville, when they were walking us around. They all were in my basement at one time, and Angie was feeding them. And in Kentucky, you were giving them free Red Man, a box of Red Man when they came and watched our players. Bring everybody in, man. This fraternity, no one's too cool. I promise you. Those guys are all friends of mine. Guys at LSU can go down there anytime. We could roll down there now. Jay would put us in the Marucci lab, and we would watch all those guys. And it's not a fact of bragging up here. It's about, those are the relationships that I built. Okay? It's all I care about is the relationships with players, with coaches. Sean James still rocks the Socastee shirt. He didn't transfer to other schools, which is about to happen to you guys if you don't get involved in everything they're doing. This is going to cut. Don't tell him not to go listen to the guy that's in the academy or in the indoor, because that guy's probably known him since he was 7 years old. Okay? And it's tough for you guys because it goes the other way too. Don't listen to the science teacher. What's he know? That's what they're saying in the indoors. We got some guys over here. You know, I know all of them, and some of them are talking shit, and they shouldn't be, because it hurts the kid. You're going to tell a kid that I've known that kid since he was 7 to not listen to me. I've been in the kids. I'm at his dad's house. I've had dinner with them. I've had weddings. I've been in their weddings with their older siblings. We have to be together to make this kid get better. And that's what happened at Socastee. So I appreciate you, Coach. And a lot of you guys have had the same thing, I hope. I mean, you got a lot of players that you brought up and they've made it, and it's probably the same thing happened. But if this doesn't happen, we can't. The kid can't make it. You can't be tearing this kid. It's like a divorce, man. You can't be telling one and the other and not listening to the other. So here's some right here. Parents, the home environment matters. Parents shape confidence, pressure, emotional stability. Best players usually have a home environment that's steady, not chaotic. So I put a picture of a kid I had when I moved to Canada. It's my first team, Matt Lloyd. He was a little slap-hitting lefty. Pretty good player. His dad coached him in travel ball all the way through. And then he came to the academy, and we had him all the way up through high school. He went to Iowa Western. Then he went to Indiana and was their closer and hit 18 home runs. Missed the Player of the Year of the Big Ten. I think the center fielder from Michigan might have got it that year. Just got a Rule 5 to the Red Sox. He's still playing. I think he's 29 years old. I don't know how old he is, but he's been doing it for a long time. And he stayed in the game and kept going. And that's his mom. She threw out the first pitch. Very supportive family throughout the whole thing, let us do our job. That's the other thing. How many parents in here that their kids play? You're coaching your kids? Coach your kids. Coach your kids. Don't trust somebody else unless you really, really trust them. Willie allowed me to hit with Sean because Sean at some point told his dad, who played 8 years of professional baseball, that he didn't know what he was talking about. So luckily I was there to hit with him for a couple of years. And then he went right back too. So that 14 to 17-year-old age, they don't think you know anything. That's okay. Find someone you trust. He had coach in his corner. I was there, so I was able to help him. The guy on the right's Alejo Lopez. We did a camp in Mexico, and we brought Alejo Lopez. Instead of going to IMG, he came to Canada and froze his little Mexican butt off. He was a right-handed hitter. We taught him how to hit left-handed. He went 5 for 5, I think, in his first, maybe one of his first couple MLB games, and now he's with the A's. But that's him and his dad, who owned the Mexico City Tigers at the time. So Alejo got to thrive because Alejo's dad was the only person that was hitting with him. And then we had a chance too, but he stayed with the same. So those jerseys that you see, I'll break off a little bit. There's a picture of a guy with how many jerseys he played for. It's all over the mound. There's like 30, 40, 50 jerseys. That's what the world is now. How hard is that to get a kid to keep moving? Because every time you go somewhere else, you got to start over. Okay? You got to start over. So we're trying to keep these guys together, and the only way to do it is to have these guys in one small group. So Sean James only had 5 things, and I just threw the Blue Claws in there. He probably played 5 games with us. So he doesn't even count. And there's Alejo Lopez with his dad after his first major league game. He was 150 pounds. Switch hitter. Okay, here's me in my high school days when I first got started. There's our All-A state championship, and in Kentucky, you only had one class. There was no 1A, 2A, 3A, it's just you're all one. So they had small school state championships too. This is the first year we won it, and it was easy. I didn't have to do anything. 4 of those guys are on the Louisville wall. So I had them since they were younger, and as I was bringing them up through travel baseball, which was not what it is now, watered down, rec league, which I love the rec leagues, I love all that stuff. So this championship team here has Cole Sturgeon, bottom left. He was a 2-way guy at Louisville. To the left up there in the yellow, that's our priest. He was involved in the team. Every once in a while I'd have to tell him, hey man, it's time for you to head out. And he'd go, yep, gotcha. And I would wear him out. But he was involved in our program. That's my son on his the right, on top of Jason Payne's shoulders. About half of those guys are coaching baseball now and have indoors. So obviously we did something to get those guys involved in baseball and something they liked or they didn't like, and now they're going to do it better, hopefully. Either way, I'm just happy they're involved in baseball. Winning teams create winners. If you can look at all the state championships at your school, if you've got them, Look at the people in those pictures. They're probably pretty successful. Okay, and that was a community. Because when I took the job there, I took over the little leagues too. Got rid of the scoreboard until the very end, and then we put the scoreboard on. But I took over the little league, I took over the middle school, I took over the whole town of baseball. Now I'm Catholic, we recruited. We all became Catholics together. I don't know if that's bad or what the morally wrong, probably. But that whole group played together all the way through, and that's what you guys, if you've won some state championships, how many state championships do we have in here? It's tough, yeah. It's tough because everything has to click. You have to have a good group, but you can build the people. And the reason Coastal, like I said, they win, and they're going to continue winning because they went and got the best people. They have the best facilities, shit, it don't matter. You don't need the facilities. It helps if you're recruiting, but you don't need the facilities to win national championships and state championships. You need the people. Guy with a broken arm. I mean, we got everything in there. So the reason I put that picture up, that was our first one. The next year, 7 of those Division I players left. We had no Division I players. Matter of fact, I don't even think there was a player that played college the very next year. Guess what we did? We won it again. They had the environment of a championship team, right? So now when you're in a program, North Myrtle Beach I use because they're here, I got 7th graders hitting with me, and they're like, man, I can't wait till we get to play in the state championship. They think they're going to play in the state championship because they're building a culture down there, and they're involved in the kids from the time they're here, and they're wearing the North Myrtle Beach stuff, and they're promoting themselves, and and it's one. They only got one high school in town, so that helps a little bit. But that's how you have to win, and every one of those kids are doing well with their lives. I keep in touch with them. That's the thing that you guys have, that the trainer, the travel ball coach, they're not practicing. They're not practicing. You guys are teaching the game, and you only get them for 3 months, which is sad. You guys should have them all year round. Because what you guys can do and the impact you can make on these kids, instead of the fireman that's making $120 an hour, teaching your kid once a week, and then he doesn't see him again for another week, and he's not doing anything until you guys get him. And once you guys get them, now they're being taught how to play baseball. And guess what? It's too late because too many people they've moved teams, they've done this, they have too many people telling them, that's wrong, do this. And now they can't play for this panel up here. Can't play for the panel. Okay? Here it is. And I've been a part of every one of them. I used to throw BP for PG. They paid me $1,000 to go to the main event and throw BP. All those major leaguers and all those big time players. I was probably on the other end, me and the chili dogs guy, and another dude threw BP the whole time at the main event. Growing up, I traveled around with Joe Barth out of New Jersey. He's the hit doctor. He had Trout and all those guys. He started when travel ball was travel ball, and there was like 20 good teams in the country. It was called All-American Talent Showcases. Joe wasn't a very good business guy. Ford took over, ran the showcases. It's history. $40 billion industry. You're trying to compete with that. You're making $6,000, $10,000 a year and giving 12, 15 hours a day to these kids. And the guy over there across the street in the indoor, I've been all these guys, so I'm siding with you, but I'm also telling you the other side of it. This is what we're missing. Prep baseball, I used to write for them when I was at Gwinnett in Georgia. Me and Sheets actually coached the Perfect Game All-American game against each other. It was pretty cool with Jones Jr. and all those guys. Diamond Prospects, great. They're getting kids out there, man. They're putting them on social media, which is huge. If you're not in social media, you're going to lose. Get you a young guy, get your daughter or somebody to do the social media for your program and promote it. You got to do it, and you're going to hear some bashing. That's why I don't put myself out there too much, because people just like to bash. Don't read the comments. Just do your thing. Put your social media out there. Kids love it. They're going to do it anyways. And here's my point about all the lessons and all that. They're going anyways. Whether you like it or not, they're sneaking over to the indoor to get lessons because Johnny's doing it. Okay? Johnny's doing it, so they're doing it. 5 Tool, big company. Prospect Select, big company. And then I put Game Changer on there because That's one of the biggest things in the world of travel baseball that parents think is the most important thing in the world. Coach, I need your game changer. I need a lineup. 5 parents on each team have a game changer. Do the game changer yourself. In your dugout, teach a kid how to do it. Do it yourself, because Johnny's going to hit 500. And not one of these coaches give a shit what your kid did on game changer at all, not even in high school. Like they said, they're going to call you. Go, hey, what do you got? Can he play for me? Right? They're going to call you, coach. They're going to say, hey, because the relationship you built with him, because you've been to his practice, because you had a player maybe that came through, that's what they're looking for. It's all about calling. I called him. I sent a kid from California, plays at that #1 high school, Corona. He's a catcher. Wants to go to Coastal. I said, okay, I'm going to send him out for a camp. Comes out for a camp. They liked him, but not enough to give him a scholarship. But guess what they did? They called somebody else and said, he's at this level, send him somewhere else. And they did. So that's what we do when we build these relationships with these guys. They're honest. They ain't got time to worry about it. So make them go to the camp and they'll see. The other thing they're not watching is college baseball. They're not going to the games and seeing how big these kids are, man. These 23-year-olds and our 17-year-old high school kids trying to come out and go play at Coastal, and if they don't play, they're going to quit baseball. That's sad. That's sad, but that's what we created in travel baseball. Tell you one more time, take over the whole community. Don't let them go to these other guys. Some dad that's coaching the team because his kid didn't play short. Take over that whole group and then start building that group. Older guys, you're about out because you've had enough of it anyways. You're going to retire. Coach Christie, I know he's out. Good for him. Coach Britt in here? Coach Britt's at Myrtle Beach. He lets me hit with one of his kids on field. Coach lets us use his field to hit. That's the community we're building so those kids can get better. They're coming in if not, so you might as well just let them use it. That's going to be tough for you guys. Individual instructors, I don't know what this is. This is the brain, this is the mental coach, the weight coach, the running coach, the throwing coach, the fielding coach, and the hitting coach. That's $100, $100, $100, $100, $100, $100, $600. How many high school coaches could use $600 at night? I got an infield guy in Oregon. I'm in Oregon now, so that's what this is. This is the Bend Elks. So what I did is I hadn't built up that West Coast in my own mind. I haven't got the West Coast people. I don't have any connections out there. I'm going to move to the West Coast. I got some family there. I'm going to go coach in the Bend Elks. So now I got Myrtle, West Coast. I got Puerto Rico. I got Canada. I got Midwest with Kentucky when I was there. I go speak in Montana. I only want to see what everybody's doing, and I want to be able to have a connection. If I want to go there and stay, I know somebody. So those are the things I'm trying to build. And if a player of mine wants to know what it's like in Montana, say it's freezing. You need to go south. Why would you want to go to Montana? I've been there. It's freezing. You don't want to go to Montana. Maybe he does. Maybe he's got family. So now I have a connection. I can make a phone call. That's what we're doing, building relationships. And on social media, these guys will reach out to you. Just DM them. The coaches, you could DM Coach Ox. He'll answer you like that. He'll bring you to practice. It's a baseball fraternity we've been in, but it's so disconnected now because people are after the $40 billion. You guys are the backbone of this. We need you guys to take over the whole community. Make your kids play with you. There's going to be the one that needs to go to the perfect game tournament. So why don't you take them? Don't fight it. You're going to lose. I promise you. That's how many instructors we got. $600 a week. And you get paid nothing to work with them for free. Christian used to say that all the time. Because he had 3 guys call me 2 years ago. His 3 seniors wanted to hit at night, and they paid me $100 and some a night to hit. And he goes, I could have hit with them for free. I said, well, you didn't. Why didn't you? Because I need to go home after my 12-hour day. I get it. But guess what? Get into the indoors, and they probably would have hit with you. They'll hit with you guys. I promise you right now, and I've done it all. College, pro, instructor. I even joined CAA, some recruiting company. I wanted to see what they're all about so I could tell Johnny, don't do it. Don't do it, because he just sat up here and said he's not going to listen to any of them. He's going to go he's going to call coach. You're going to call coach and go, hey, what do you got on him? Can he play for me? Who's he like? Not CAA or NCAA or whatever it's called, NCS. $3,000 they're giving those guys. So now they give them $3,000. They gave them $600. You got Jack, and you're with them all day at school. You care about their grades. You care about them. You're in their lives for 6 days a week. You guys are the ones that can make these guys go to the next level. These other guys can't. This is what it looks like. There was words up there, but we took them out. This ChatGPT, I don't know why people say it's not. Somebody was on social media and I read one of the comments that said, oh, that coach is just using ChatGPT. Heck yeah, I'm gonna use it. I can't even do an email. I'm from that era. You know, coaches, you know what I'm saying. We can't do that. So this ChatGPT, actually, I was just asking coach, how do you spell develop? It was the first word on there. I think it has an E at it. ChatGPT ain't gonna get that wrong. So it helps me if I'm able to talk better than I can. So basically that's what we're getting. It's a little cartoon, it's kind of gimmicky, but that's what they're saying. If all these different people, that's the player on the left and this is the player on the right. That's how the real development happens. Standards, I heard somebody say that up here. You guys are the ones that build all this stuff that we need this kid to have, you guys, the high school coaches. I miss high school coaching, but I can't do it because I can go make $120 in an hour and come back and watch the rest of the show. Buy you guys all lunch in 3 hours. So it's tough to leave that. So why don't you go coach in the college ranks with them? It's a little thing called freedom. I can live in Myrtle Beach for 3 months and then go to Oregon for 4 and go to Mexico for 3 and not have to get sued or get fired because I wanted to get after a kid or get after a team one time with some bad language. That's why. I've never used my name for anything, because anytime you put yourself on a pedestal, people just want to knock you down. My wife made that. Developing players for the next level. I've been doing it for years for nothing, for free, and then these guys are coming in and doing it for $3,000. I've had over 500 kids that I personally trained from the time they were 7 all the way to college. And I got them into college with the connections I had. I never made a dime on it. Who's the idiot? Me. It's time. You guys need to start making some money because you're really good at what you do. Those times have changed where we're doing stuff for free. Every time you leave your house and you leave your kids and your parent and your wife, charge them. They got money. They got way more money than we do. Charge them. They want to talk to you about college? Charge them. That's what's going to happen here. That's probably a bad message to send, but it's real. It's real. Okay? Or don't. I still don't. I'm still not going to. But, but I should. So, top left, Eric Rubin, Marty Lane. We're at the Arizona State game. There's a Canadian group that brings a whole group down to Arizona. They train them for a week. And then we play in a tournament, $500 a kid for the whole week. Canadian. So American, that's like $300. That's really cheap. That's my kid, my dog, my wife. To the right is the owners of the Elks. That's Kelsey Herco and Michael Herco. Kelsey works the concession. She's the owner of the Elks. Her dad sold Consumer Cellular. She's a millionaire. And the first time I met her, she was working the concession. That's somebody I want to work for. He was working the front gate. That's the people I want to work for. On the right, Bat Bro. You know that logo now? They're on my field every day. And the indoor, that's my indoor that I'm at in Bend, Oregon, the Bat Bros. Richie Sexton walks by. I'm hitting with his kid. Jacoby Ellsbury walks by. The kids at the camp don't even recognize him, don't even know who it is. And Will walks by, Bat Bros, and they go crazy. That guy's a good dude. One day he did a video. He was testing bats. He wanted to call out the bat companies of who has the best bats. The next day it had 500,000 views, and they're really good dudes. I said, you make any money off those? He said, no, because we tell the truth. If we made money, then we'd have to lie about who we were getting the money from. Millionaire, self-made millionaire, just telling the truth, showing off bats. Really good dude. Bottom right is Willie, Sean James's dad, with Ron Polk. When I was in college, we had to use the Ron Polk book. And that was our, you remember that, Coach? Remember that? You guys, we had to use Ron Polk's book, and that was our classroom. And we got to meet him, and of course the Mississippi State thing, and he knew Sean, and he knew all about him. He's like, man, what a great kid. And over to the left, of course, is the famous Sheets. Somebody said, hey, Sheets is here. I said, they have a parade for him? Like, I'm that guy with him. But talked on the phone last night. He's down there. If you guys come to the Nationals, he'll be the same guy as he is in college. You'll be hanging out with Sheets in the complex, and he'll get in trouble for it, but he'll put you in a Washington Nationals uniform and you can walk around there. That guy is so approachable. Email him, text him, he'll give you everything when it goes. If you guys weren't here last year, he'll give you everything he's got. And he has it like on a spreadsheet and everything. So there's Coach Cox BSB, that's my email. If you guys need anything from me, I don't know if I can help you, but man, I'd love to hop on a call with you. I got 40 hours of window time coming up next week when I drive back to Bend, Oregon. So I want to thank you guys for your time. It was hard to come after here, especially after Coastal Carolina, who's going to win a national championship here in the next couple of years because of the people they have. And I just appreciate your time, from a local guy that doesn't have much going on except for, behind the scenes. But I appreciate you guys listening, and if I can help in any way, and please reach out. Thank you.